Okay, so let's look on the computer and play around with some different ideas and see what we can come up with.
Alright, so this is the car that we have. It's a 1986 Audi Coupe GT. Now the thing I don't like about this car is that the bumpers they don't really jive with the rest of the car. This car has so many angles to it that smoothing out these bumpers really didn't do it any favors visually. It looks like it's missing something. Now the reason they did that is because when they came out with the Audi 5000, that was a very smooth aerodynamic car, and then they decided to try to apply that to the Coupe GT, and it just really didn't work well with the car as far as I'm concerned anyway. But let me show you the history of it. So first we had the original Coupe GT, and as you can see, it had nice thin bumpers, a little air dam in the front, and thin bumpers in the back. Now later on they came out with the Quattro. Now in the Quattro, you can see that they kept some of those nice angled lines on the bumpers, and they came up with this nice air dam in front and a nice angle for the back as well, bringing the back skirt down just a little bit. So this looked really good. This is probably the best version that you can get on this body style. So we're going from that to what we have right now. And as you can see, it just doesn't look right. It looks kind of pudgy or like it's bloated or something. So here's what I thought. Okay, well, we can't get aftermarket kits anymore for these cars, but what we can do is take what we have and modify it. So let's start by pulling the bottom covers of the bumpers in a little bit and give a little chin to the bumper. And so something like this. Now this gives it just a little bit of a chin on the bumper, but it's still missing something up front. So let's give it a little bit of an air dam, just like that. And with that, now it's starting to look more like the Quattro did. And we get some of this look here. But we want to try to get this nice crisp line in here and this angle in here. That will help it out some. So here we are. This is what it looks like. And let's see what it will look like if we paint the car blue. And so there it is in blue. So this is a concept of what we're going to do with the bumpers on the car.
Alright, now that we've seen what some of the options are, I've laid up this line with a piece of tape right here on both sides. And I chose where I chose for a couple of reasons. One is the thinner body line of the bumper. I want to try to mimic that. But I don't want to get rid of this little flare right here. So I'm going to curve here and go down. And if you remember, on the Quattro's bumper cover, they have that body line that makes that curve there. So we're kind of mimicking that a little bit, although it's much thinner on the Quattro. But I'm also keeping this out here for a special reason, is because on the back side, there's a mounting device right about here and here. So it will keep us solid with the brackets that are already there. So what I'm thinking of doing is we'll cut along this line, and then we'll push this in and push this back, and that will be the start. Now of course this is plastic, so what we'll be doing is using some plastic welding techniques to put this back together in the shape that we want. So we're gonna cut it off, and like I showed before, and so let's get to that. All right, I got it apart. on this side, I'll cut the other side, and we'll cut it in the middle. And that way we can shorten it here and push it in and push it back. Now we've got all the pieces cut apart, and I've cut this in the middle, and now I'm going to remount it. I cut a little strip out of here, and I'm thinking we'll put it about like that. So I have a little gap to fill in here. I'll make a nice little crease in it right here, and then there will be a new piece that will go in there. So now it's time for a little plastic welding. So I'm all set up to do some plastic welding, but let me show you what's going on. I had taken this much out of this area, and now I'm going to plastic weld it back together. But I'm going to do it in such a way so that on the outside I'm going to have a body line that I didn't have before, which is what I would like. So I've clamped into place a little bit of stainless steel screen, much like this, and I've just got it clamped in place right now, and I'm heating up my plastic welding device. It's kind of like, I'd say it's halfway between soldering and welding. But what we'll do when it's hot enough is we will place it on top of the screen, and what we'll do is we'll be melting the plastic enough to push the stainless steel screen into the plastic, and then we'll put a coat of plastic on top of it. Now, as you can see, what I'm doing for starters is just pressing down until the heat from the gun melts the plastic and makes the screen sink in there. I undid my clamp for a minute. Let's get this side in place first. The screen is going to act as a reinforcing agent. It's going to provide extra strength. Now this will take me a little bit of time, but I will get this put together and I'll show you the result. Well, it's the next day. Good morning. So I tacked the bottom pieces in place. I tacked it up here and here, and I think it's looking pretty good. Next step will be to cut the middle and weld the two pieces in the middle together. After that, what I think I'll do is I'll take it over to the paint shop, because the car has already gone to paint, and we'll trial fit it on the car and see how it looks before we fill in these areas and make these little brackets reattach. Anyway, it's looking pretty good. So I really like how the bumper's turning out. It's actually turning out better than I thought. I spot plastic welded here and on the other side in the middle, and I got it all put back together. I'm liking how it's looking. So now what I need is I need some plastic to fill in these gaps here, and notice that I have this little gap here along here. That's going to need to be filled in with a piece. And I've been thinking about these openings right here. Well, there are no lights or anything. They used to have reflectors in there. Don't really like it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. And I may put like a driving light or a fog light or maybe some turn signals down here, but they don't need this big opening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this in, and I'm going to recut new holes when I get the lights that I want to put in there. Now, that being the case, I'm going to need some plastic. The number one source of plastic is actually going to be from old bumper covers. Now, here's the deal. When body shops, they have a damaged one, it used to be that they would repair them. And there was a whole industry, sub-industry that popped up, taking the old ones, repairing them, and selling them back as a less expensive alternative than buying a new one from the factory because they were so expensive. So there are tools and plastic welders and all different kinds of materials. Polyvance is a good company. I buy the Polyvance stuff. And so I was preparing to do that. I know that nowadays, since body shops, they don't repair them anymore, because what happened was after this industry popped up, it started cutting into the sale of new ones. So the manufacturers dropped their prices and made it not very feasible financially for people to repair the old ones because of the time it would take and the materials it would take, and now you can just buy a new one cheaper. So they throw them away. Well, this is good for me because now I need some plastic. So all I had to do is go to a local body shop and see if they had old bumper cover that they were throwing away, and I'll pick it up. And that will give me the plastic I need to cover these areas. So that's what I did. All right, so here are the patterns that I made for the pieces that I need. And so I'm going to cut these squares out of here. This long piece is going to come out of the top. And this shape piece, I'm going to cut these out of the side here. So let's cut them out and get ready. Well, I got all the plastic pieces that I had cut welded into the front bumper. I did the rear as well. And everything is in place, and it came out pretty well. Now, remember I was talking about these openings here, how I didn't really like these openings, they're too big. So I made some pieces to fill it. And what I did is I put another piece on the back so that I could cut the groove in here so the groove matches up. Now, I did decide what I'm going to end up doing. Let me show you. From the car up in Maine, I got the turn signals off of the older car, and what I want to do is I will cut a hole once these are both mounted in, and I will mount the turn signal right about there, a little bit in, right about there. And so after I get these welded in, then I'll measure and cut the hole for the new turn signal. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about was, now I need to fill in that gap, and I wanted to make a little air dam or splitter for it. And so I've been thinking, how am I going to fabricate that? Do I make it of plastic? Do I make it of fiberglass or carbon fiber or something like that? And then I remembered I had got the air dam from the car in Maine, from John's car, and I liked that air dam. And the plan was to use the thin bumper and the air dam off of his car if this didn't work out. However, this is working out pretty well. So I want to show you something real quick. Hang on. So this is the air dam that came off of that car. It's the older style from like the 82, 83 years. And now I thought maybe I could modify this and it would clip right on there. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to be playing with this for a little while. The other problem I had is I didn't have a lower grill. It had disappeared at some point. I never had it. And so I had to fill that with something. I also got the grill, which fits right in there. So that solves that problem as well. Now I notice they have these two little oval holes in the ends of the grill, and I'm thinking maybe I'll find some very small LED driver lights or something, because you know the new styles, they're real small. So I'm going to see if I can find something that fits these holes. And then all of a sudden, my lower grill problem is solved. So I'm going to spend a little time experimenting with this, seeing where do I cut this, how do I attach it, and I'm going to make this match up. All right, now I moved the car out. Let's put the bumper on, and let's look and see what it looks like right now. As you can see, the car's looking pretty good. And the bumpers, I've just got them slid on there. You can see that they don't fit right now. I wasn't worried about that. I just wanted to get a general look at it. The back here really looks nice. It fits well. And the front also came out just exactly like I had planned it when I had put the Photoshop file together. So you can see that this part has worked out. Now the next thing is to make the air dam fit underneath the front and see if we can make that work. All right, back to work.
Thanks for watching The American Garage. If you liked this video, hit the like button and leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe.